My first look at the quarterback position for week 11 starts right now. What's up, guys? Welcome to another first look. Do me a favor, if you want to become a profitable DFS player and get better at betting, start now by subscribing to the channel, but make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything along the way. Do me a favor, smash that like button before you forget as well. Quarterback for week 11. We're kind of reaching that part of the season where it's not the home stretch, but like we're deep into it. So like at this point, pricing is getting extremely efficient. Again, a couple people in the chat, we do this live. If you're watching this on YouTube later, we do these live every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So come hang out with us, twitch.tv/Joe Holka. But in the chat earlier, someone was mentioning how tight the pricing is again this week. And that was kind of a big deal in week 10 for sure. So we're going to have to try and figure out, I guess, what to prioritize when spending up, because the value might be kind of few and far between. So at the quarterback position, let's just start by looking at some of the guys that we have available that do give us a little bit of a rushing floor. If you watch any of my content, you know that's something that I do prioritize. It's not that I have to have it. I just prefer to play guys that run a little bit in my single entry smaller field contests. So as far as some of the guys that we have available on this slate, I do think that this Deshaun Watson versus Lamar Jackson, this game's going to be an awesome game to watch for sure. Both of these guys are probably squarely in play, but after what Lamar did last week with that long run, that spin move, everyone saw it against Cincinnati. I think he's going to draw a ton of ownership, probably for good reason. 7,700 again might be a tough slate to get all the way up there for sure. I don't know. It seems really expensive on FanDuel as well. 8,800 for a team that like they will kind of take their foot off the pedal a little bit. We saw that with Mark Ingram. They didn't really need much against Cincinnati. I do think it's going to be a lot different game against Houston. So that 27 implied total is interesting for sure. I will say that the one thing that stands out from a matchup perspective is Houston actually has been a lot better against the deep pass than definitely Cincinnati, which we'll talk about. Cincinnati, I believe, is 32nd in defending deep passes. So the shorter area of the field, Lamar Jackson. So that's an interesting one. We'll have to piece our way through that. But from a game environment perspective, that game is shaping up to have the most plays on the slate. So that's going to be extremely enticing. Baltimore, 66 plays or so this early in the week. This can change a little bit, but more often than not, doesn't change a ton. So that's something to consider if you are thinking about paying all the way up for Lamar Jackson this week. As far as some other teams that we think could have increased volume on this slate, I would be avoiding this Arizona side of the ball against San Francisco, which we'll get to. But the San Francisco side of the ball, anytime we can get a team playing against Arizona, we know they're going to be an elevated play volume on the other side of it. So Jimmy Garoppolo, 6,700. This team wants to run a decent amount, but there was times during the year where this number was a lot different. So teams that are running a lot, this will be a red number on my sheet. If you can't read this, by the way, it's meant to be that way. So I only want to pay attention to kind of the tails of this, right? So teams that run a lot, I want that to be extremely red. Teams that pass a lot, I want that to be extremely green. So as far as like the offensive plays, I definitely think that it's at least notable for the Garoppolo side of the ball. But it's not like a deal breaker by any means. But yeah, it is notable that they haven't been running quite as much, though they are still a pretty run heavy team. Josh Allen against Miami. That's an interesting one. Josh Allen is someone that has been a little bit more of a floor play this year than in years past. Hasn't been pushing the ball as far downfield, but I will say his average intended air yards creeping up a little bit. Hasn't been the problem I have with Josh Allen is if you watch any of the game, he's just missing times when John Brown is deep, and it's like almost like his head just doesn't process things at the kind of elite fast level as some of the other guys. So that's a frustrating thing for sure. Anytime that you're going to kind of put your hopes and dreams into a quarterback like that, we know he's going to run. That's great. Great matchup against Miami. Above average, at least. It's not like the best matchup on paper, at least through the air, but it is a good spot for Josh Allen. So I think he'll draw some ownership depending on the price of John Brown. I could see that being a popular stack. Kyler Murray against San Francisco. I really don't think a lot of people are going to play this guy against San Francisco. Like, insanely low total on the road, huge spread. Again, San Francisco pretty elite at the short passes and deep passes. Again, Kyler's just not throwing the ball deep, but I mean, at least you did get Christian Kirk. Shout out Christian Kirk people last week for a couple touchdowns last week, and he has that rushing floor as well. So I think Kyler's interesting. Let's look at some cheaper guys. So if we did want to go to someone like, I don't know, our boy Ryan Fitzpatrick at 5,100, average intended air yards, fourth highest on the slate. Again, Buffalo is just, I hate that Buffalo matchup on the other side of the ball because they're so good. They're so strong at defending those deeper passes. It's always going to be a lower total for Miami, of course, as well. So that's interesting. Someone in the chat was saying that Kyler is the same price as Dalton and Rosen on Yahoo this week. Interesting. Kyle Allen is a value. Yeah, let's take a look at him, Mike. Kyle Allen, the ideal, I guess, reason you'd want to play Kyle Allen is because it's pretty easy to stack him, right? If you're playing Christian McCaffrey, if you're playing any of these wide receivers, and then obviously it's against Atlanta this week. Christian McCaffrey against Atlanta at home. Is that good? We'll get to that in the running back video, I'm sure. But 5,300, yeah, I don't mind that for Kyle Allen. He's not someone that's really going to give you a whole lot of athleticism back there, but a team that's going to throw a lot. A team that is projected for a decent game environment as far as plays are concerned. Nice team total. They are at home, like I said. The nice thing about Kyle Allen is he's going to rack up this yardage just from Christian McCaffrey dump-offs. He's going to rack up yardage for some of these layup throws to DJ Moore against a team that really struggles to defend shorter passes. I think that makes some sense. At 5,300, he might be a guy that might be popping as a decent value. I think he's probably my favorite guy all the way down there so far. Let's see if there's anything else on the cheaper side of things. So Brandon Allen, Dwayne Haskins, Ryan Finley, not a ton of rushing equity there. Obviously, we don't have a huge sample here, so you're not going to get a metric like average intended air yards until we get more pass attempts for these guys. Dwayne Haskins looked absolutely terrible when we did see him this year. Pretty good matchup against the Jets. If you're a believer in Haskins as a talent, maybe this is a spot to kind of jump on before the field. I don't think I'll be there for it. But I always want to kind of see the Stone Min, I guess, guys. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really love any of those guys. I think Kyle Allen, whoever said that in the chat, sharp call, good matchup. I could see him kind of gaining some steam as the week goes on. Anyone on Carson Wentz against New England? That's a scary one. That would be an extremely scary one. Nick Foles, 5,600 against Indy. I could see that working out. Tight spread there. They are on the road. I'm probably, depending on Fournette's price, I'm almost always going to be on that side of the game, and we'll see. Interesting week so far at quarterback. Let's just look at a couple matchups for deeper targets. So Drew Brees taking on this Tampa Bay team. Like, I'm sure we'll talk about Michael Thomas. Tampa Bay, 31st in the league at defending deep passes. Drew Brees didn't look that great. I mean, I guess didn't really have to do a ton, last week. Anyways, he just doesn't get a touchdown for the first time, and I don't even know how long. That was extremely surprising. I wasn't really on Breeze. I have a hard time playing him unless you're just playing him for the stack equity in a larger field tournament. I guess I can't watch Taysom Hill throw touchdown passes. I can't watch him take just touches away, I guess, in like very important areas of the field in the red zone. So I struggle with that quite a bit with Breeze. Maybe that's a leak that I have, but I never really considered him last week. Belichick off of a loss and a bye. Yeah, I think that's a pass on Wentz. Good call on the bye too. So apparently during the first 12 weeks of the season, yeah, they've been really good against the spread. I'm with you. So Mike's asking about Darnold. Let's take a look at Darnold. Darnold's one that I've kind of been Xing out mentally, but let's take a second look at him. 5,700 on the road, low total. At least it's a tight spread. Well, this is a decent data point because we know Darnold just refuses to throw the ball downfield right now. He took a couple deep shots to Robbie, just nowhere near him though last week. But Washington is one of the worst teams in the league at defending those short passes. So 5,700, the price is right. I don't know if he's like a core option by any means, but again, there's always value in like knowing where the ball is going to go. And it seems like there's going to be, we're going to need some value this week for sure. So yeah, I don't hate the play, man. Driscoll at 4,600. Yeah, so I don't know why Stafford is still in the projections for most people early in the week. I think if you did want to kind of go the Driscoll route, at least you know he's mobile. I played him on a smaller slate last week, and he can just get there with using a little bit of his legs, and 4,600 is a decent price. So yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that, man. Well, that'll be one we have to walk through, I think, later in the week when we know for sure. Crowder revenge game. There you go. All right, let's see if we missed anyone here. So I guess at the higher end, let's talk about these guys a little bit. Dak Prescott against Detroit. Dak has been just dealing this year for sure. He's someone that's throwing deep, third highest in average intended air yards like that. Get a little bit of scrambling ability, so at least he's not a net zero there. 6,700 seems like a tougher price tag there. But I don't know if there's really a ton to love all the way up there. We don't have Patrick Mahomes on the slate. Lamar Jackson at 7,700. I really think that it's probably going to be hard to get there from a roster construction standpoint. But it's interesting. Jameis Winston against New Orleans in this game that I think could shape up to have some points. That's an interesting one. People just not wanting to go back to it after last week when we kind of got a little bit of a floor game from Winston. I think that he was still a decent play last week based on, again, there's a ton of value in knowing where those targets are going to go. If you want to learn more about how to be a profitable DFS player, start now by hitting the subscribe icon in the bottom right-hand corner so you don't miss anything. Be on the lookout for all of my content throughout the week, starting with these videos right here. But I do go live each and every Sunday morning at 11:30 Eastern time on Twitch. Come hang out with us. You won't regret it.